Right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Valence League's Division 2. We are in week 6, and this means crunch time for these two teams. It's not about winning the split, it's remaining in the division. I am Motorjohn, I'm here with a debutant. It's Ma on my side today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing today?
A bit stressed, but I'm looking forward to this game, which should be a very interesting one. From what I heard, by the way, Whiff, who are playing Orgless today, have lost all their bans due to a late roster submission, meaning slight advantage for Orgless, who can use any advantage they can get, as they've yet to win a game this whole split, and I mean not a match, I mean a game. So do you expect the not having bans on the other side to help, or do you think with Salate are just too strong?
I mean, I think you've got to give them all the advantages you can at this point, because if they haven't won a game so far this split, then it really becomes like if they're on blue side, the enemy doesn't have any bans to property onto you in as well. So you've essentially got three free bans for blue side. You've got first pick on blue side for your first OP. So I think if they were going to win a game, I think this would probably be the game they could win. And then you never know, if they win this game, maybe that gives them a confidence boost into game 2. But time will tell, really.
Yeah, momentum is a powerful thing often enough, and I think it's gonna be the Caitlyn for them, but we'll have to see. The pick is just still so powerful, and not being able to ban it away on red side is a huge disadvantage. Depending, of course, on the players and if Delight is able to play the Caitlyn well enough or confident enough in it. On the other side, with Salate, didn't have the best of luck yet either this split. They've started strong with a 2-0 win over Vigorous, but since then haven't picked up a series. They're 1-4, and it looks like a declining curve for them. 2-1-2 defeats, followed by 2-0-2 defeats, albeit against OPN and Sacramento. So power to be had there, as we're about to see the first pick.
Yeah, I'd imagine this first pick is going to become Caitlyn, because if you haven't banned it, then the immediate thought in my mind is that you've got to first pick that. I think it'd be a disaster if you didn't pick it, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there it is. Of course, there is the Ashe always, which I did expect them to ban if they were aiming to first pick the Caitlyn. On the other hand, only three times actually, has the Ashe been picked up for the side of Whiff Salate, and they've lost all games on it. So maybe they can break that spell here. So one streak is going to end.
Yeah, possibly. And I think when you're just looking at the bans on blue side to begin with, I think the Galio ban is actually quite interesting for me, because that seems to be the pick that actually did very well when they played up against Sacramento. For Whiff's elite side. So I think when you look at what bans you can actually put up on the enemy team, the Galio I think is an interesting ban on that side. Bash and Orgless, I think that's a phenomenal pick lane, but you've got to spell it. Yep, they got to spawn Morgana. That makes a ton of sense to me, because you want to be able to make sure you can secure the Caitlyn to get outside of the laning phase, because she is going to have a power dip after about 15 minutes into the game when she has like just one item. So you want to get quickly down to 3 items as quickly as you can.
Yeah, speaking of protecting the Caitlyn to help her get to the late game hypercarry phase, the Shen is something that should definitely help there. Also a strong pick in the top lane at the moment. Often underestimated in lane, but still powerful, and this ultimate, of course, map-wide, can put so much pressure on the other team.
Yeah, definitely, and I think if you're with Split right now, you think... Yes, we have a little bit late with this one, but what I was about to say was that you've got to think of a way now of trying to command the early game, because if you let the first 5 to 7 minutes be dictated by Team Orgless, the immediate fight around any dragon or any early Rift Herald is now going to become very heavily on side of Orgless, very favoured.
With that Stand United available. Of course, Urgot, a very strong lane pick, could definitely bully around the Shen, and if the Shen ults away and Urgot doesn't have his TP available, he is a champion that can take these towers fairly quickly. So giving Orgless something to think about, definitely here.
Yeah, and I think I like the idea that if you allow Orgless to try and fight around these objectives with early power picks such as the Shen and Morgana protecting, then having a Urgot on the other side of the map to try and do a cross-map play or cross-map objective punishment I think is very smart. The Nivea ban is also in as well. Again, another pick that Whiff actually did pretty well at against Sacramento. So it's good to see that Orgless have actually done their homework in that respect and actually understood that what mid lane picks have actually done well against arguably one of the best teams in Division 2.
Yeah, I'm expecting a Vel'Koz ban on the last one, but maybe something else is in their priority. Jungle also still open, and there's been a lot of picks Mise has been trying out. The Graves has worked okay-ish, the Jarvan has been picked up a couple of times, but the Lee Sin was something that was very strong so far. Malzahar is the ban, though.
Yeah, I guess this is trying to restrict Whiff's elite pick potential, because right now you've got the Ashe and Orgless, which is very much like a single target CC, and Malzahar kind of promotes that.
Yeah, Sejuani locked in, makes sense with the comp, and now there is already a lot of tankiness hiding that mid lane pick still to make it problem solve whatever Orgless are trying to show them, and this Vayne would be a spicy pick if they decide to lock it in.
I'd rate it if they did it, because they're going to have to burst through some tanks, but yeah, but I don't think we're going to get the mid lane Vayne anytime soon.
Yeah, that is Diana. Not the best champion into tanks, but as far as assassins go, at least she has some sustained damage that can, shred down tanks.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's and a Kane coming through as well. So I guess what they're trying to do now is they understand that Whiff's elite have now got that big front line with the Urgot, Nautilus, Sejuani. So you're not going to be able to really front to back team fight that well, because Kanan doesn't naturally go into these on-hit health builds such as the Blade of Rune King or Ginsu's or anything like this. So you're going to have to find another way to kill the Ashe off and Cassiopeia.
Yeah, Kane and Diana definitely able to jump onto that backline to hopefully for Orgless get onto the Cassio and the Ashe, who will be the damage carries for that side. Cassio think makes a lot of sense here because you still need a bunch of damage with this composition, and look no further than the bootless snake.
Yeah, definitely. And Whiff's elite composition just shouts, "We want to team fight you front to back because we understand that you don't have much of a front line now." The Shen is the realistic only front line, and completely depending on what the Kane goes. He may want to go for the assassination build because it's going to be. I think Orgless are going to find themselves in a very difficult position to actually try and kill this Ashe or Cassiopeia if they position correctly.
Yeah, also with no other tank on the team alongside the Shen, I think that makes their life in general and the life of Shen not exactly easier, because they can't really posture around objectives because the Shen wants to split push, right? He wants to be in a side lane away from the team, but then that means that no one in the team really can take poke. Of course, there's not the greatest amount of poke between Ashe and Cassio, but still there is some, and there's no one that can take it when the Shen's not there. So now you get posed the question, does the Shen split push, or is the Shen with the team to be able to position and ward around these objectives?
I guess it depends on realistically if the Shen can actually 1v1 into the Urgot, and I don't think the Shen will be able to do that much into the Urgot just right off the bat, because the tank shred that comes from an Urgot and the fact that the last thing you want to do against an Urgot is stand right next to him, right? Because if you stand right next to him, he presses W. And I'm trying to remember if the Urgot W actually works like an auto attack, because I don't know if the Shen, I can't remember what the ability is called here, but the Shen W, I know, creates like a little circle around his blade and stops auto attacks. I don't think Urgot's W is actually counted in that respect. So
I think it is actually.
Is it?
I'm not 100% on it, but it should be, because it does get taken down a notch if the enemy champion has a Bramble Vest, and so if the Bramble Vest anti-auto attack ability works, I think Shen W should stop the Urgot fire. We will be able to see that in game, probably if Bombing Dude uses the W appropriately. It's going to be an interesting matchup, definitely. What I noticed when I was researching these two teams as well is they like to fight a lot. Like when Whiff's elite are looking good and when they're winning games, they have good KDAs. But when they lose, man, do these KDAs drop. They will not stop fighting you, and they will not stop dying when they're behind. But it does also mean the pressure will stay on to Orgless if they manage to get a lead.
Yeah, I guess this is why they've got into that. They've tried to go into Shen, they've tried to go into Morgana, because they want to be able to protect this Caitlyn and also protect this Diana, because if Orgless do find a way to get onto the Cassiopeia and the Ashe, And if either of them get killed straight away off the back on any pick that they have, it's going to be very difficult for Whiff's Elite to actually continue the fight. The only way they will be able to continue the fight is if Urgot can actually get into the middle of the Orgless team and actually get his ultimate off and successful.
Yeah, a multi-man fear beyond death is certainly going to assure Cassiopeia and Ash can shred down this team. It will be a little bit dependent on topside this game, I think, because if the Shen falls massively behind, there's not all too much Orgless can do. But if the Urgot falls massively behind, and they always have to send 2 people to answer the Shen in the side lane, their game could fall apart fairly quickly. So I think focus topside should be there for the early game with these junglers. On the other side, you have 2 immobile mid laners as well, so now the junglers will have to question themselves, where do we go?
Yeah, definitely. I think when looking right off the bat in terms of these compositions, to me, if you're going to be looking topside, you really have to shut down. I think the most important top player that needs to be shut down is actually going to have to be this Urgot, because if he does get ahead, he's a champion that can get a lot of attention, and even in 1v2s, he actually comes out on top if you do not play the fight to crowd correctly. So I think if you're on Orgless, your main objective for this fight is to try and make sure this Urgot does not get too far ahead, and then you can start to look around with using Shen's ultimate to try and look down for these dragon fights or look for these Rift Herald plays. But I think it's a really interesting matchup with also in the mid lane. I think if it's going to come down to, in my opinion, who can get the priority at the right time, and my immediate suspect on that would be, can Cassiopeia get push in the Diana? Because I think if that can happen, then again these Rift Herald plays, these dragon priorities, going to become very crucial.
Yeah. Now looking at summoners and runes, I don't think there's all too much that is severely surprising. I'm a little bit irritated by that comet on Morgana. I would have expected the Aerie or just a whole different tree. But I guess the comet makes sense if you want to poke with a W. It's just an unusual choice.
I think I would have preferred, actually, if they went into Guardian, because I don't think you're against a Northless who's naturally going to be building some health and also has an ability for a shield. So to me, I don't know how much real poke you're going to be able to do, but I think if he went into Guardian, it just shouts a lot more out. We want to protect this Caitlyn. We know this Caitlyn's going to dominate team fights in the late game if she gets the time and space to do so.
Yeah, definitely. All going with the Comet, they want to kill the opposing lane. I assume this is what that means, as we're about to sync up for the game. And we're live as the base gates are about to fall and the teams are going to spread out. Let's see if there's going to be any level 1 shenanigans with the Nautilus on Whiff's Elite. I actually expect them to do so, and they are seeming to be clumping up. On the other side, Orgless are doing the same thing, so not likely to meet enemy champions right now.
Has someone put a mirror down in front of Summoner's Rift?
Yeah,
they've done the exact same path.
Yeah, Whiff's Elite a little more daring.
But now what makes this interesting is if either team can get an understanding of that this has happened, both junglers could look into vertical jungling, and it's something that not a lot of junglers in. Don't think a lot of junglers in VL actually do this. But because there's 5 members on one side, about 5 members on the other, I don't think either of them will be able to know. Or
it's just so funny to look at. Yeah, the recalls are coming in. I think they're both realizing the enemy team is not what they expected them to be. Orgless still waiting around. This could cost their bot lane, actually, because now they're very far away from these minions which have already spawned and passed the inner turret. So this will be very late arrival in lane for Delight and Katie Bertje. While on the other side, the invade has been continued. They are going to steal away this red buff, while the Kane of Get Duped will be starting on the enemy chickens, which is a high experience camp, so props to him for getting that. They also have both left vision in their enemy jungle.
Yeah, well, I think now what makes this interesting is, okay, so Sejuani's now going after Raptors. I think this is a good call, because I was a bit afraid that Sejuani would go back and go straight back into a blue buff to clear the bot side camps, and that would have left Kane an extremely great opportunity to actually get really far ahead. But as we mentioned earlier, this bot lane that actually didn't get back into lane in time. They've only just hit the lane. They've only just hit their first yes.
Yeah, that is not looking ideal for Delight and KDB here, especially since they are playing a lane that wants to bully around the other lane. But against the early push of Ashe, it's going to be difficult. Anyway, here's a level 2 for Bobbin, and he gets the hook and gets some good damage onto Delight. But nothing further happening, no summoners exchanged.
I think KDB had actually hit a very crucial binding there, because if that binding didn't hit, I think Caitlyn goes down to below 50% HP, and that becomes a very high pressure situation for the Caitlyn.
Yeah, minions stacking up in the top lane, a little bit of trading in the middle, but not all too much action right now. So, with these junglers now starting to clear their own jungle away, and Kayn already discovering his own chickens to be gone, where do you expect them to go next? Oh, another hook lands while I ask this. This time the binding only hits a minion, and so Delight is already extremely low HP. Heal still available for KDB, but gonna be a tough lane. If another hook lands, Delight
Kane's
dies.
looking.
Feuerlöscher is pretty low on HP. That is some good damage from Get Juked. Flash forward from Bobbin trying to kill Delight, but so many summoners still available. First Blood goes to Get Juked, and now Delight juking away from Bobbin. Gets some good auto attacks down, but he could fall here. Bobbin's gonna try it, but he will fail. Delight just barely survives. KDB picks up the kill, and it's 2-0 for Team Orgless.
So I love what Kane's done here. He's seen that his bot camps have been taken, except for going straight down to his Krugs. He's actually gone straight down into the bot lane, because he's realized that his bot lane have been under so much pressure through 2 very good hooks from the Nautilus. So instead of actually trying to go down to his Krugs and trying to maintain trying to keep his own jungle matchup intact, he's actually tried to go down and actually get into the jungle, and another one's come up here.
Yeah, that is good damage onto Cheltera. No mana either, but Mise is here to save him. Now Calray is in trouble. Low mana on him as well. Get Juked comes in to try and save the day. Forces Cheltera to flash even. And now chasing Mise. That is good damage he can put down, but I don't think he can pressure the kill. Calray has no mana to help him. Meanwhile, Bombing Dude, one more auto will kill him. Janko's gonna dive him. He flashes forward. Flash away from Bombing Dude. The Q misses as well. And now Urgot might fall to the minions. Will just barely survive. That was a bit of over-aggression here from Janko.
That was very aggressive, and knowing that Shen had his flash up, I think it would have been so much better if he just let him just run away then. Keep on the low HP, push that wave, and then you get a free recall, because now the Shen he's just teleported right now, and he has no choice but to do that.
Yeah, he's gonna go in, and that will force Janko to recall himself and teleport himself back to lane, probably, because his lane was pushing just now.
Yeah, so what the point I was about to make just from that teleport was that if you're in that position as Yanko and you get a very good trade-off, if you force the Shen into back and as a bind just hits and trap misses. But I think if you're Yanko, if you manage to push the Shen out and force him to recall, you actually get into a position where you can force that lane to be crashed into tower. You then get yourself a free recall, you can then run back into the lane without losing too much waves. And by doing that means you have teleport advantage for the dragon.
Yeah, for now, both teleports were about to be used, but Urgot is walking to lane, so Janko is saving that. Probably a smart choice, as Bombing Dude is about to hit level 6 fairly soon, and will have that Stand United available, even if no teleport is to be found. Now Delight and Bertia being chased away a little bit into the river. This could cost them some XP.
Yeah,
and they have to take the long way back.
And what's actually quite interesting from here, looking at from Whiff's lead, is this Urgot's now gone for a tier of the goddess. So this has been somewhat of a conversation about what champions within the game can you build a tier on, and Urgot's now the newest edition of that from my own knowledge, because I've never seen Urgot be a tier of the goddess user pre-rework.
Yeah, me neither. But it's gonna be interesting to see why Janko opts for that, because if you put 5 points into your W, at some point it will cost you no mana. So interesting choice, certainly. Maybe it's just for early game power, but I don't think Tier of the Goddess is anywhere near the ideal item to build on this champion.
No, I would have really liked to have seen a Black Cleaver come out, because if you're going to be in the middle of these team fights, any armor you could shred off just boosts the DPS that Ashe actually comes out with. Maybe he goes into Black Cleaver after this build anyway, but I do know that if you're going to go for any dragons, I guess what this shouts to me then is that Whiff's lead don't really matter or care too much for any early dragons.
Yeah,
that they want
for now, here comes a taunt. Here we see the W in action. Janko not trying to auto-attack through it, but here comes Get Juked for another gank. This is very good damage. Janko has no flash, and he will fall to Bombing Dude. Easy execution on the gank, and it's 3-0 for Team Orgless, a team that have not won a single game so far, but are now over 1,000 gold ahead. And looking good.
Yeah, another great gank by Get Juked Easy. Realizing that top lane exchange which happened with the flash exchange, and knowing that this Urgot does only have a Tear of the Goddess, he's not as strong as other, like, his traditional build would suit him up to be. So I think that's a very good gank there.
Good damage onto Kaltera. Kalrai not with a ton of mana left and gets some return poke. Actually, now he tries to go in. He does have the Moonfall available. Here comes the Turning to Sun. It's already so much damage. Has to flash away, but that will not save him from the poison. Now Get Juke trying to get the return kill. Using his own ultimate. There comes the Stand United as well for Bombing you to actually steal the kill away. 4-1 for them. A 1-for-1 in the mid lane. But yeah, the Stand United, I don't really know why he used that there.
No,
gets another bit of gold though.
No, that was I wasn't completely necessary there, and that now gives up. Well, it doesn't actually give up because they now can go straight to this dragon. But what it means is that they now need to be a little bit careful about this Rift Herald. It's actually Diana who's now gone to the top lane.
Yeah, because the Shen does not have TP, and they want him at the dragon, I assume, or in the mid lane. What I find weird about this with the Stand United, why didn't he just ult Calray when he was about to die? He was already flashed out, he was safe except for that poison ticking him down, and then using the Stand United on the jungler who was not really in danger of dying. Not the ideal choice. He does get rewarded with 300 gold for it though, so he's going to be happy with that, even if the team as a whole is not entirely happy probably. Here comes Calray.
No, and okay, so what this does mean with the Shen getting the gold, of course, is that what it does mean now is that eventually, when these lanes do get swapped out, I cannot imagine Shen's going to be staying in mid lane throughout the remaining of the lane.
No.
But when he does get to the end, this split push is now going to become a lot more threatening because of the tier build that comes out. So you're giving up a lot of early pressure now. So this Urgot is now going to be in a slight problem. That's a good hook.
Yeah, that's hook onto Delight, gets the Black Shield immediately after, but here comes the ult from Ashe. Immediate cleanse from Delight. He has no mana and is ignited, but the auto attacks will still be firing away. He is Get Juked. He is always where he's needed at the moment. Gets good damage onto Feuerlöscher, who is completely out of mana. Hook lands onto KDBH, but will not kill him. They already have killed the Ashe, and one more auto. Here comes the ace in the hole. Delight gets the kill. 6-1 in kills, and the gold lead is now over 2,000 for Team Orgless.
So you mentioned it right there. This Kane is appearing at all the right spaces. He's really getting himself into these ganks at the right time in the right place. And now, if you're Whiff's elite, you need to just calm down. You need to try and stop this hemorrhage that's happening, because otherwise you're going to find yourself in a position where, as soon as you get to maybe the third dragon, or even if Whiff's elite, Orgless can actually get themselves to Soul Point, you're not going to be able to contest this.
So Giovanni mid could look for a gank, but is looping around for now towards that Herald, or maybe trying to gank top lane as Bombing Dude is pushing this up. Something interesting I've noticed with Janko, but first the gank. Mizek gets the slow. One more auto will get the stun. There it is, the Ice Shard stunning him. There comes a double taunt, but will it save him? The good W, and that's a Moonfall from Calray to pick up the kill onto Mizek, and they're chasing Urgot now. Janko immediately has to flash away already. The flash was just back up. And now he loses it again, and another kill for Team Orgless, who are just rotating better at the moment, and they always have superior numbers where it counts right now.
They are, and it seems like Whiff's elite are, again, they're panicking. They're trying to force things now. They realise that nothing happened in they had a bad fight in the bot lane. Now they're trying to go top lane, trying to kill the Shen off. But again, I keep referring to it. It's a Tear of the Goddess Urgot. He doesn't have a lot of damage right now. He doesn't have that Buffage and like a Ruby Crystal that means he can actually take trades and start these fights. So they're trying to play. It looks like they're trying to play this composition as if it's a mid-game composition, but with Tear of the Goddess stacked on both mid lane and top lane, you need to wait for these items to be completed before you can start forcing trades like this.
Yeah. What I was about to say earlier. while Mise is hovering around this bot lane. This could be a gank while the mid laners are fighting. They will never give me the chance to bring up this point. Now maybe they will. Urgot has bought a Tear of the Goddess for reasons we will maybe understand at some point. But whenever he flips people with his E, he doesn't turn on the W. So why did you get the extra mana if you're not going to use it?
Yeah, I guess... just have a quick look. Yep, he is maxing the W, so he won't be using mana. So you won't actually stack any. You won't be stacking the W up the tear up. Sorry, when you actually initiate the W. So the only way I think he can be able to get this stacked up now is if he he needs to rush the mana moon, because otherwise he's going to find himself in a position where he's only going to have 100 stacks by the 15-minute mark if he's not careful.
He has 156 right now, which also is not a ton. But we'll have to see how this develops. For the moment, Bombing Dude seems to be in fine enough control of this lane. Get some good return damage. Here comes the flip, and now he turns on the W. That's good damage. A taunt saves Bombing Dude from more of it. But good exchange for Janko here in this top lane for now. Yeah,
definitely. I think when we eventually do see a damage item coming out of the Urgot, then he can look for these trades, of course. And also interested to see what the Sejuani will be actually doing right now as a result of the situation of this map. Because right now you have to just try and secure your own buff, secure your own camps, and try and secure as much of the river control as you can, because you need to remember that the team is now very far behind. So you need to kind of just prioritize what can we do in the next 7 minutes of the game, because that's when your key carries are going to have the appropriate item start fighting.
Yeah, speaking of river control, the next dragon is about to spawn. There it is. It's a cloud one. And we're going to have to see how early these teams are going to try and capitalize on it, trying to take this dragon, which could be a huge boon to these ultimate users, especially the Shen. Here comes the charge from Janko, not able to flip Bombing Dude, and so the Shen can just walk away for now.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Orgless are going over towards this dragon now. I think that's a very smart decision. They know that they're far ahead right now. The Rod of Ages is growing on the Diana, and you just need to prioritize.
Sorry for interrupting you here. It looks like the fight is coming in. There is the double knock-up from Get Juked! And Get Juked easy, they say. They're going to get a taunt on Janko as well. Has to run away. It's already a 5 versus 3, as the bot lane has already died for Whiff's Elite, and the chase is on. There comes the Sejuani ultimate to buy time, and it looks like they might be able to get away here, but Get Juked is a very fast boy. Gets a knock-up onto the Sejuani, but that, of course, is not a target you can kill easily, and so it looks like a disengage for now. But that was 2 great kills from them on the back end of that dragon, and now the gold lead has exceeded 3,000, and it looks like they just want to move towards this Herald next.
Yep, definitely, and I think this is something that's very smart again from Orgless. They're looking to just continuously push their lead right now. They're looking to pressure on these turrets, pressure on these objectives, and Janko's getting very low just by trying to take out a ward.
Yeah, that was a good Diana Q. He is very much in danger of dying, but the rest of the team is posturing around. They're all here, all 5 members. They get the hook onto the Morgana, and that means she's gonna very likely die. They get a stun and a shutdown onto Get Juked, and this fight is super chaotic, but it looks good for Whiff's Elite. Suddenly they're all 5 people together, and now the front to back works. It's 3 dead already on the side of Orgless, and they're going for Delight, flashing forward on the Nautilus. Triple kill for Chelter. And that is exactly what they needed here.
That was absolutely insane. Having a 15-minute ace when you're 3,000 gold down is not something I would have expected this team to be able to pull out back, but they get a fantastic hook out of the Nautilus and a great initiation, and killing off the jungler right off the start means that there's not going to be any Ras knockups coming through from this Kayn. So that was a great fight by Whiff's Elite.
Yeah, and also their front-to-back team comp was made for fights like this, with the Cassiopeia and the Ashe just sitting in the backline, firing away, letting the tanks use all their crowd control to secure the fight. And suddenly, they're in the gold lead, albeit by only a couple hundred gold, but that's a 3,000 gold swing through one fight. One mistake by Orgless threw their whole lead away.
Definitely, and something that's quite crucial from that was I'm just looking back at these bounties. Cassiopeia actually got a 300 gold bounty off this Kayn, so that was 600 gold just off the back of 1 kill. And I believe she even got herself, at the very minimum, she got a triple kill in that. So a lot of gold went straight onto this Cassiopeia. And straight up Liandry's Torment has just been purchase. So now Cassiopeia is in a fantastic position to try and take over this game and be a carry when Ashe was potentially falling a little bit behind in this lane.
Yeah, this is definitely the strongest member of their team on the map right now. Taunt does miss Janko. He flips over the Shen, but Calray is here to support his teammate. Doesn't look like they want to try and dive the Urgot though, which would not be a smart choice, I think. He has finished the Mana Moon. Now we'll have to see what he's going for next.
Yeah, I would still imagine that it's going to become a Black Cleaver. But if it isn't, then I'll be very interested to see what happens, and that's a lot of damage coming off onto the Morgana.
Oh, they're going for Feuerlöscher. The Ashe is all alone here. Bobo very far away. They get the knock-up, they get the kill, get juked. Easy, he says. And now he comes in himself with his ultimate. But there's Misa to support his teammate. And meanwhile, the camera pans to the bot lane where the top laners are dueling. Bombing Dude is taking a good brunt of damage. And there comes Fear Beyond Death. And Janko gets the solo kill onto Bombing Dude. While on the other side, Feuerlöscher has died, as we saw. And so it's a 1-for-1 across the map.
Well, that's something I've learned today, is that Mana Moon Urgot apparently does have a place. It'd be great to see what happened throughout the duration of that fight, and I'll look at that in a little bit. But that was a lot of damage coming out of the Urgot straight onto that, and this is Shen with I believe at the time he did have the Ninja Tabbies. So, yep, that is a lot of damage coming out, and that might swing the course of this game if this Urgot's allowed to continue side laning like that.
Yeah, you have to question the finishing of the Titanic Hydra, though, because Tiamat is very good in being able to push against the Urgot, but you need armor against this champion, preferably a Bramble Vest. But here comes the Stand United on to get juked, but Janko flashes away as soon as he sees that Shen coming in, but it's 4 people around him. He cannot escape. The Dark Bindings lands, and the shutdown goes to the tank. Bombing Dude gets another kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Rift Herald has been summoned, and this will be an easy 3rd tower for the side of Whiff's Elite, who with this remain in the gold lead.
Yeah, definitely. Janko was very greedy for that tower. I think he realized what was happening as soon as the mid lane was emptied. But he said, you know what, it's okay, I'm going to die, but I get a tower. We'll make this equal through the Rift Herald being summoned.
No, they missed the hook. But Katie Betty has no way out against 3 members with so many slows and stuns here. And now Get Juked is all alone in the middle of 3 people. Here comes the cavalry, though. There is the Diana. Double kill for Calray. The chase is on to the Ashe knockup lands. He's getting these knockups continuously. Meanwhile, on the back end, Cheltra has picked up a kill for himself. So it's 2-4-3. And Orgless will take their prize, which is the first of maybe many Ocean Dragons. But it looks like Chelterad is not willing to give this up just yet. And there comes Janko to support him. The Dragon's not dead yet. Blue team gets it with the smite. But now the fight is on. Can they prevent Janko from killing them? It doesn't look like it. Fear Beyond Death get juked. And that is a kill picked up for the Dragon. If you're Orgless, I think you say worth, because Ocean Dragons are supreme.
Yes, absolutely, and because they're now on Ocean Soul, it's going to be very interesting how they decide to play out the rest of this map. Because looking at the items right now, Caitlyn is still not on a full item.
There we go.
She does have full item right now, but at 20 minutes, only being able to finish her first item, she does have a little bit of change left over. So BF Sword does come out for her right now. So she is in this good position, but she does definitely need to hit at least a second item. I think what's going to happen now is, can you hit the second item before the Ocean Soul? Because I think that's going to be crucial if they want to try and secure that.
Yeah, also having 3 dragons is just so valuable, because the enemy team, when these dragons spawn, will always have to choose between the Baron and the Soul. Like, what do you give up? Can you threaten to stop both of them? I think with a fat Cassiopeia, you can definitely threaten to stop both of them. One question I would have for Feuerlöscher is he trying to be Rona Zoro? Because he has 3 daggers in the inventory, while Bombing Dude gets hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And there comes the cavalry. Bombing Dude is still alive. He's so tanky. Feuerlöscher will just die here. Getjuk gets that kill. And the overchase was just too much. Bobin falls as well. And Bombing Dude's on a killing spree. Glacial Prison misses everybody. And that was 2 kills basically for free. And they could be looking for Baron Nashor now.
Yeah, and I think it's a great chance to go for this, because you see the Cassiopeia's bot lane. If they have been timing some of the spells, then they know she doesn't have the teleport. But it looks like they're actually going to keep off this for now and just keep on trying to secure as much farm as possible.
Yeah, interesting choices. I think I for sure thought they were going to go for this. As you said, the teleport is down for Cheltera, so you cannot challenge them. But for now, they wanted to preserve their towers, it seems, and chase the Cassiopeia away from the bot lane. Now, they have their own push going in the top. Maybe they really, really want this tower. Maybe it looks more threatening to them than a big purple monster thing. Who knows?
I mean, the tower's worth gold, I think. I don't think Baron actually worth any gold, so maybe they want the gold.
Yeah, but Baron gives 300 gold per team member. I think that's a bit more. Well,
maybe
we are not in the heads of them.
Maybe whoever's the shot caller is a bit selfish. He wants the 300 gold just to himself, so he wants the tower.
well, who knows? They are once again ahead around 1,000 gold and 3 very valuable dragons. So they still are in prime position to win this game, to finally get their first game win on the board, but there's still some work to be done here, because I think at some point, Whiff's Elite will outscale them with the Cassiopeia Ashe comp. So yeah, they still have to make plays.
Definitely, and just look at this Cassiopeia, a 3-item Cassiopeia just passing the 22-minute mark is a fat snake. That's about as much you can say right now. That is a very fat snake. And it's really going to become a question of can Sheltera actually position correctly in these team fights? Because if Sheltera does get blown up straight away from a Diana or a Kayn trying to get onto her very quickly, then you can't see really Whiff's Elite really winning any team fights when she's not in the fight.
Yeah, and the longer this goes on, the longer I question if Orgless actually know that the teleport is down from Cheltera, but because she's like, he keeps being in the bot lane on this Cassiopeia, the by far strongest member on Whiff's Elite, and they just don't even try to threaten the Baron. They just let her take the tower. Now they come in with the Stand United on the Kayn, but Kayn's already almost dead, has to go golden. Good flash from Cheltera to stop the taunt. Here comes Calray with the knockup with the stun. Fear Beyond Death will get a shutdown onto Calray, but they get the return kill onto Cheltera, which is also a shutdown. But again, the shutdown gold goes to Bombing Dude. This is a very healthy ninja right now when it comes to his income, and it's a 2-for-1. But since 2 of them are in the bot lane, they can't really go for this Baron yet. But in less than a minute, the next Ocean Dragon will spawn, and they are on Soul Point.
They are on Soul Point. Sheltera does have his teleport back up, so as soon as Cassiopeia does come back up, she is going to be able to join this fight, join the ensuing Dragon fight, because you have to imagine that Whiff's Elite will not want to give over Ocean Soul, especially if they can take 1 Ocean Soul themselves. That is huge because of the inbuilt sustain that Cassiopeia and Ashe naturally have anyway. So any additional Ocean Dragon they can get is going to be so crucial for them to enhance their late game team fighting.
Yeah, also making their tanks even more tanky with the heals coming in with these regen. Like once you get the soul, it's basically a permanent healing, but for now it's regen. And this dragon looks to be hotly contested by both teams. It's already been started up by Whiff's Elite, but they don't really seem to be too comfortable. They pull it out of the pit and now they go for it. And for some god unknown reason, Orgless don't even challenge. They just give up the dragon, and that's an ocean point for the side of Whiff's Elite.
I think that's a huge mistake from Orgless because...
No! The arrow, the black shield just comes too late, the chain CC is there, Calray falls to Whiff's Elite, and now are they gonna try to make a 4 versus 5 thing happen? They get good damage back, but it's just not enough to be confident in a fight. Good catch from Whiff's Elite, good layering of the CC, even through the black shield.
Yes, definitely, and it was a great catch and a great layer of CC as well, because Diana has been entering these team fights and being able to get a lot of damage, some of them being executes onto the Ashe especially, and that was a ambitious Fear Beyond Death from Yanko.
Yeah, on a full HP Delight. Not really sure what he thought he was going to accomplish with that. There comes the hook. Now the tower's fallen. Black Shield too late again. Katy Betya will just fall. There comes the taunt though. The kill onto Katy Betya is through and comes onto the Nautilus, but here comes the chase. Kayn going into everybody. Solo. Now finally Mise falls. Shutdown goes to Delight, and they're sweeping the floor with the side of Whiff's Elite. Cassiopeia TP way too late. Cannot get anything done. Just TPs to his own death. That was a tactical int. He just wanted to be with his teammates in the fountain playing Black and White Simulator, while Orgless will be picking up this Baron.
And I don't understand why this teleport was so late from Cassiopeia. That fight was going on for a solid, it felt like it was about a solid 10 seconds before that teleport was even channeled. And it's really interesting because there was a part when you could teleport into the middle of a wave onto a wall or something and then join the fight and go front to back team fighting. But there's such a late teleport coming through that as soon as everyone's dead, you're there by yourself. You're a lonely snake and there's 4 people looking at you and smiling.
Yeah. They were definitely happy to pick up that kill onto the Cassiopeia, who is almost on 4 items, so that is pretty big, but this Baron pickup is also pretty big. By now, Bombing Dude should be almost immortal with the Adaptive Helm completed. That is so good against Ashe and Cassiopeia and Urgot, with the ability damage that will repeat itself. And yeah, Feuerlöscher very behind on the Ashe, just barely on 2 items. And 2 cheap items as well, while Delight sitting on 2 finished BF Sword items already, and Calray also has a full stacked Rod of Ages with 1.5 more items. This is looking like a very strong game for Team Orgless. They're around 3,000 gold up again, and unless they throw that again with a mistake in a team fight, they are looking very good here.
Yes, definitely, and a Death Stance is in the works now of this Kayn. That's going to make him incredibly difficult to kill because he's Rast anyway, and because that inherently, again, has a lot of sustain within itself. It's going to become very difficult to stop this Kayn from just going into your team and just being a nuisance more than anything else. And this Caitlyn becoming online now as Shen's caught.
Bombing Dude, why did you go there? You know he can flip you. That is so much damage onto him. Not low enough yet for the Fear Beyond Death to be a threat to dying, but that was way overconfident. No matter how tanky you are, you can't just let an Urgot flip you into his tower. Now the minion wave is here, he dodges the flip, and now he can let the minions fire away.
Yep, definitely so. He wants to try and, because he understands the cannon is at that extended range, although the tower is at half HP, so I don't think the cannon was going to be too much of a threat. But the 3rd item has come out now, so this Death Stance has come in Kayn. It's going to be very difficult for Whiff's Elite to actually really stop him from being, again, like I said, a nuisance. And
flip.
Yanko is accepting it, and
oh no! Look at that return damage. Another solo kill for Yanko with the Fear Beyond Death. Well, one of them has a Bramble Vest and one of them doesn't. Spoiler alert, the one with the Bramble Vest will win the 1v1, and here's another one. This time, no Fear Beyond Death available. The arrow goes wide, but Get Juked has to run away here as well. Now Sejuani coming in misses the Glacial Prison. Now Get Juked still has to run away from 2 tanky boys. Will be able to do so, but yeah, Bombing Dude, despite all the gold he has picked up, still losing the 1v1 to Yanko, and that is a concerning thing for Orgless.
Yeah, and
the flank. He's in the flank. There, look at that knock up. Get Juked is so healing though, and they get the kill for Delight. The front to back is on their side this time. Get Juked is in the middle of the enemy team, and on the flank is the Cassiopeia. Get Juked will pay with that for his with his life. Here comes the Stand United onto Calray, who's jumped into the backline. Bombing Dude picks up yet another kill onto Feuerlöscher. 8 deaths this game for the Ashe, and Orgless, in a very chaotic fight, seem to come out on top for now.
And it's still continuing.
Yeah, they're not done. Bobbin has been caught. Delight is on a rampage, and there's the taunt. There is the charge in. They're going to get the ace for this. And that will be Ocean Soul for Team Orgless. The lead growing to 4,000 gold now, and now they're firmly in the driver's seat.
Definitely, and a lot of credit I think needs to go to Delight and KD Bjerta here, because that Cassiopeia was not allowed to enter that fight in any stage, and the Cassiopeia is trying to come round on that flank just behind the Dragon Pit, but Delight notices that, tries to lay down some traps. Bjerta's there to try and guess again, like the black soil down to try and restrict. Try and ward her away from it. So the Cassiopeia was not allowed to really get into this fight whatsoever. Because the Cassiopeia is not there, that is the biggest threat on the side of Whiff's Elite, and he just was not allowed to get into that fight.
Yeah, they basically only have 1 damage dealer at the moment, because Feuerlöscher is kind of a non-factor at the moment. With 2 items and an Executioner's Calling, he's not going to do significant damage to the likes of Bombing Dude or Get Juked. And so it is basically a 1v9 for Cheltera right now. He has a couple of tanks ahead of him, and Yanko is doing some work with these solo kills he's doing, but overall, it's him against the world.
Yeah, most definitely. And he is approaching a full item set right now. He does have 4. He does have the Morellonomicon. There's and as just I mentioned the Morellonomicon, there's also one on the side of Calray on this Diana.
Why does Calray have a Morellonomicon? LS is crying right now.
Well, there's 2 Morellos in this game. I don't think anyone who's a LS fan is going to be very appreciative of this.
I mean, I can understand it for Sheltera because there is a Kane on the enemy team and they have an Ocean Soul, so at least there's some reasoning on that side. But for Calray, I just don't know. There's not really healing on the other side except for the Urgot with the Death Stance and the heal item, the lifesteal item on Ashe, but not really something worth buying a Morellonomicon for.
No, definitely not. I would have preferred if there was... he's going in.
That's dangerous. They're going in. Kane is still in the base, and so Kara will probably just die. The Stand United wasted as well. It came way too late. And now he's fighting Janko again in the top lane. Here we see the W in action blocking the auto attacks, but the W has only limited duration, while Urgot's auto double enhance is not limited by time, and so he can just keep firing away, and now they have all the pressure in the world to maybe turn this game around still.
Yes, definitely so, and he's going for another trade.
Yeah, the taunt looked good because he was under tower, but look at the return damage. Janko is just easily fighting him away. The flash away from Bombing Dude. Not able to get the Fear Beyond Death on, and so Bombing Dude will live to see another day. Ninjaing away. But for now, it looks like the Baron is the next objective for Whiff's Elite.
And I don't understand why the Shen keeps trying to go for these 1v1 fights, because he keeps losing. He's the one who's taunting.
That was a good Black Dark Binding. Delight is unstoppable while the rest of Whiff's Elite are on the Baron. The Baron's already so low, and it gets picked up. Now they have to try and run away, get as many Baron buffs as they can to safety. Calray going in a bit too deep, has bitten off more than he can chew, will survive after a flash away. Delight picks up the dominating kill onto Bobbin, gets the ace in the hole, and Cheltera falls to get juked. They have 2 Baron buffs off the other team. Now they get the Dark Binding onto Sejuani. The chase is in. Can they get more? They have slows, they have another route, and I think they get one more kill here, and only Ashe, only Feuerlöscher walks away with the Baron buff. Good capitalization onto that catch they got on the Urgot, but good decision for Whiff's Elite to continue on with the Baron even though the Urgot died.
Yes, definitely, because what you want to do there if you're Whiff's Elite, you try and get the Baron, try and get out as quickly as you can to preserve that Baron lead, but with it being on the Ashe now, yes, you still have the buff, but if you can't really go anywhere with it, you don't have the luxury of going into a side lane and trying to get some split push going up right now.
Yeah, these death timers also are so long, they're gonna be able to pick up the inhibitor on the back end of this, so definitely not worth from the side of Whiff's Elite. Even if they get the Baron, they lose 2 towers and an inhibitor and a couple of deaths. And so the lead keeps growing around 5,000 now for the side of Team Orgless, 34 minutes into this game, and it looks like they are primed to take this game. They just have to win one more team fight to do it.
Yes, and that team fight might come across this Elder Dragon, which is going to be up in 1 minute and 40 seconds time. Now the question is, can this Ashe get the Infinity Edge before that? She does need around about 800 gold now, so if you can get 800 gold in the next minute and a half, that would be fantastic, but I think that might be a bit of an ask if you're Ashe, and that's going to be crucial now because this Caitlyn is on 3 items plus the Executioners. The DPS difference between Caitlyn and Ashe is going to be just night and day.
Yeah, Caitlyn with 3 BF sword items completed now. These auto attacks from Delight are going to hit like not 1, not 2, but around 3 trucks every time he tries to auto attack someone. And these headshots are going to be, I don't know, an ICE train. they're going to be huge.
They're going to be very, very painful. And the only person who can... and Sheltera
going for Sheltera. He's been split pushing this whole game, so not the most stupid choice for Orgless to go for him. He's all alone. There comes the taunt. There comes the damage. Delight gets the ace in the hole. He is godlike. Only KDB will pay for that with his life, but a mid laner for support. I'd take that trade any day. The Baron buff still onto the Ashe, so they could be looking to try and take this inhibitor tower, but it's 4v4. They can't really fight. There comes the root onto Janko. Look at these Caitlyn auto attacks. They're doing so much damage, and Whiff's Elite are chased away. Around 20 seconds till the Elder Dragon is up, 15 seconds from now on, and it's 4 versus 4 on the map, with one team missing their strongest and one team missing their weakest member. Yeah,
definitely, and you mentioned it earlier, this Sheltera keeps trying to split push, but the Caspian is trying to split push without vision in the jungle, so it's very difficult to do that and not expect Orgless to come over and try and punish you for that. And now they've got frontline onto this Elder.
Yeah, trapline has been set, so they need to come over walls or they will be stopped. The dragon is already on around half HP. Here comes the teleport from Janko. Shelter is also going to come in with the teleport. Here comes the engage. The Orgless are so split up. Getjuked will fall here. But first he goes into one enemy player, and Feuerlöscher is already a couple of shutdowns are coming through though. 3 dead on the side of Orgless, and the dragon is still alive, and this looks like Elder Dragon for Whiff's elite. Orgless was so split, and they only get 1 kill. Can they try to make the steal happen? It's not looking like it. Ball! KD Bjertje! And that is such a mistake. They didn't have the smite on the Sejuani, and what looked like a one fight is now an Elder Dragon on Bombing Dude and KD Bjertje.
Team Orgless, if you're looking to win your first game of the split, the stars have aligned for you to do it, because how you could steal an Elder Dragon with the Tormented Soil, which does 65 damage per second, that is just absolutely incredible. This has to be fate for Orgless now to win at least this game in the series.
Yeah, if they're not winning this one, I can't see them winning another one, because they get the Elder Dragon on the silver platter. Of course, it's only on 2 members, but still...
it's better than having on 5 members of the enemy team.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta feel so tilted if you're on the side of Whiff's elite right now. Having this huge turnaround team fight, they're back to around 3,000 gold behind instead of 5,000, and then the Elder Dragon gets stolen by Morgana. What even is this game? They're trying to give everyone a heart attack this time around.
It's just absolutely amazing, and the Ashe right now has finally reached the 3-iron spike. Now she can be a champion. Now she can actually get inside these fights and try to make some Tor damage. The Infinity Edge now coming out is going to be a very good power spike for her, but they need to ensure that they can make use of the slows and make sure they can make use of that damage, because with this Elder Dragon buff right now, they're looking to try and push.
They're going for it, but the arrow lands onto Bombing Dude, and tanky he might be, but not tanky enough. Janko gets the kill with the Fury on Death, and they were way too deep in. Double kill for Janko. The chase is on as well, and that's KD Bjertje gone. Now no more Elder buffs, and it's a triple kill for Janko at the perfect flanking opportunity here. But it was just Orgless who were way too deep into the base without their Diana. And now the 2 carries who are still alive have to run away. But it's 5 members on the side of Whiff's elite. They might just look for the end here.
It is we're coming up to a 30-second death time, and the inhibitors only just come back up, so there's no more 2 minutes to clear out. They have to be looking for the game right here, unless Orgless can thin out this mini wave. But
they gotta keep the minions alive. He comes onto Delight. He's dead! And there comes the Moonfall. But Kelray is too late. His AD carry has already fallen. He's 1 versus 4. Flashes away to buy some time for his team, but will get killed. Double kill for Shelterer. The inhibitor will fall, and it's 13 seconds until Get Juked and Bombing Dude are spawning. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be the end here. It's the ace for Whiff's elite, and 1 Nexus Tower is already being attacked. KD Bjertje has respawned. Second Nexus Tower is being attacked. 1 has fallen. Misa could fall too. That Tormented Soil, and now the Nexus is being attacked. Misa, Bobobin, and Feuerlöscher on it. Double taunt will help some, but Feuerlöscher is still on it, and the Nexus falls for the comeback win for the side of Whiff's elite. That was a pretty big throw from Orgless, but congratulations to Whiff's elite for keeping their heads in.
Absolutely, and giving up the Ocean Soul, having the Elder Dragon stolen away from you, it will play a part onto you. It will affect your mindset going into into that game. But having to pull out of the bag right there, I think Orgless maybe got a bit too ahead of themselves. They got a bit too hyped up. You still the Elder Dragon trying to push, again caught out time and time again, and eventually they do just pay for it, because these death timers are so long when we get to this stage in the game, and eventually you get 1 or 2 people caught out. It is going to become the end of the game.
Yeah, I do feel bad for Delight this game, though. He's did everything he could to carry it. He was the one person, except for the 2 hooks in the very early game, I think he's the one person on his team who never really got caught out. Get Juked also had a very great game. Bombing Dude got a lot of kills and a lot of assists and had some good Stand Uniteds, but he's also gotten caught out a couple of times. But yeah, overall, a very unlucky game for them. They will not be happy with themselves after this one. Let us hope they don't tilt off the face of the planet in the short break we're about to have. Any advice you could give them for that?
I mean, the stars of align. You didn't have any bans going into that first game. You had the first pick. You managed to get yourself the Caitlyn. But I'm looking at the damage graphs right now. There's only a 2.5k difference in damage between the Caitlyn and the Ashe. Considering how far ahead this Caitlyn was throughout the game, it's you gotta be disappointed if you're Delight right here, because having such a huge gold advantage and not being able to take advantage of that, it has to play on your mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he played a little bit too careful in some of these fights. Well, we are going to a short break, and after that we shall find out if Orgless can finally find their first win of the split, or if Whiff's Elite end this in a 2-0 fashion. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes.
Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light, but I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is today. I'm doing my best not to run away. Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave in and swallow me whole. Wondering how the world keeps on spinning, kinda scared of living when it unfolds. Hard to see the light when everything is dying, waiting for the clear. Thankful I'm alive, but terrified of dying. But hey, I'm still here. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light, but I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is today. I'm doing my best not to run away. You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. close out, I'll find valid in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the tunnel closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. My love, I'm gone. I need to be strong. The darkness had tried to swallow me. Some days I fall, but I hear your call. I pray I don't hit the ground. Gravity. Gravity.
Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid, but it'll be okay if you just stay with me. And we can run from here, and we can disappear, and they won't find us where we are going, dear. So baby, hold on to me, 'cause I know I can make you believe in something that only we can see. Oh, so baby, hold on to me, hold on to me. And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Division 2 of Valence League. Today, we have Whiff Elite against Team Orgless, and a heartbreaking loss in Game 1 for Team Orgless brought Whiff Elite up to 1-0. And now, I am Multijaw, and here with Ma, and we are looking towards Game 2. Still no bans for Whiff Elite. Do you see Orgless winning this one now?
Well, they they have blue side once again because they have the option of choosing that side. Again, no bans. So I guess if the stars weren't aligned last game, I don't know how many more stars you need aligned for Elder Dragon, Ocean Soul, and all the other things coming your way. But yeah, I mean, maybe they learned from their mistakes. I'd like to hope so, because that was it must have been a very difficult loss to take in that Game 1.
Yeah, must be absolutely heartbreaking. We see the first adaptation from them already. They ban away the Cassiopeia from Cheltera, so no more snaky slithering in Game 2.
Yeah, that was it was quite interesting because the Cassiopeia was a problem, but then there was a lot of positioning errors from Shelterar coming in, like with a very random split pushing coming through. So maybe without having that Cassiopeia, maybe it will entice him to go into maybe split push with a champion that can actually do it, and then you can potentially play around that a little bit better. But and got being banned as well.
Yeah, Yanko looked pretty comfortable on that, except for the early tier, which I still find very questionable. But he did look good in the mid to late game. He solo killed Bombing Dude twice, despite being down in gold. So I do understand the ban, definitely, especially if they want to go for something like the Shen again.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder now, if you're Whiff Elite, if you've seen this Urgot being banned out, do you actually take away the Shen as well? Knowing that Orgless are very likely about to go for this Kanan pick, do you then go into potentially like a Shen Ashe, or do you try and just solidify that bot lane? Because you have to expect the Orgless.
Whoa! That is a Teemo instalog from Team Whiff Elite. That caught me absolutely off guard. And the Nautilus alongside.
I'm going to stop my point right there. That's a Teemo.
I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but
it's
stuck with it now. Hecarim locked in for Get Juked, so no Kane this time.
Well,
they prefer the horse.
Pickerman's still going ahead. We haven't got any word that it was not intentional. No one's left the lobby. I guess that's going to happen. Okay, well, we have a Teemo.
Interesting as well, they pair the Caitlyn with the Tarek this time, not with the Morgana again, which I find curious as we see the Nautilus again. But yeah, the Ashe is still open, could be picked up now for Whiff Elite. My mind is still racing, thinking about why they blind pick a Teemo here. Is Yanko just so confident in himself and in the Teemo that he says, just bring it on, Bombing Dude?
Can you blind Teemo? I that is very risky. If you're, in my personal opinion, if you're Yanko, to just straight up say, Bombing Dude's not very good, let me take Teemo, I can beat one Teemo. Or there's some absolutely wacky stuff coming out, and maybe this is a bot lane Teemo. I can't imagine that being the case, because I don't know, mate. It's good. I'm very curious about where this team is going to go because you're not selecting Ash, you're not selecting Jin. So if you're on the side of Orgless right now, do you just ban those two out and just say, "Give me the free lane as Caitlyn"?
Yeah. They ban
Oh,
Anivia
okay.
again, which they did last time, but they have to. I mean, they don't have to ban the Ashe because it was absolutely useless last game, except for, the arrow that won the game. So it wasn't useless entirely, but it didn't do anything in lane really. But it did control the Caitlyn up to a point where the Caitlyn could be controlled by the rest of the team. So still a worthy pickup, I think. It's still something Orgless should at least heavily consider banning.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they left both open because you've got two, I guess, strictly 2 free bans to put into either the bot lane or at least into the mid lane. So I can understand why they want to ban Anivia. If Anivia is a champion that Shelter can play at a very good level, I think he was actually the other champion apart from Gala I mentioned earlier that did well in Sacramentum, so I can understand that. But I feel like you have to ban at least one of Ash or Jin, but they're going to leave they are going to leave both open.
They banned the Lucian again, which they banned first phase last time. So Ashe is open, Jin is open, and we're going to be expecting Feuerlöscher to pick this one up as his own champion, but we'll see what the blind pink is. Top lane should be picked with the Teemo, and so last time they did choose to last pick the mid lane champion for Shelterer, so that means we probably look at an ADC here. And, well, we don't know. It's a Yasuo, but why?
This is a very interesting draft.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to put some out there. I have a sneaky suspicion this is Teemo bot lane, or I guess it could be Yasuo. I don't know. I guess it could be anything right now, which is a very obvious thing to say. So, I guess it just can't run with it until we find out what Bobo Bobbin plays. Selects even, but we have a Diana coming back out for Calray.
Yeah, I mean, we are confused right now. Envision in your head what Orgless must be thinking right now. What the hell is that draft? The Yasuo makes a lot of sense damage color-wise with the Teemo together, because now you have one. It's Teemo bot lane.
This is Teemo bot lane. I should have stolen my gut. I should have stolen my gut and just said this is going to be bot lane, isn't it?
Is this a secret tech to beat the Caitlyn, or is it going to go 0-10 in lane? We're about to find out. This is the most interesting draft I've seen in a long time.
I'm going to just do some very quick research on something. Because Caitlyn's range, as we know, is quite large.
Yes.
Now, I've never expected Teemo as a champion to have a large attack range, but there could be something in the works. Maybe Teemo does have a lot of range that we don't actually know about, or at least it's gone undercover. So I'm going to go and find out what the range of Teemo is, because the only way I believe this could work is if you have the range to outpoke a Caitlyn. Otherwise, you're going to have to walk up within range to get your poke down. At which case, Taric is there for a shield or a healing aspect. But I'm trying to justify Teemo bot lane. I
don't think it's justifiable. I don't think it's justifiable, Ma. With this Teemo, his auto attack range is 500, and the Q has a range of 680. Now going towards the Caitlyn, very famous for long range, has an auto attack range of 650. So that is 150 more units on the auto attack and just 30 shy of the Q range of the Teemo. So maybe they hope when the Caitlyn tries to fight, they Q the Caitlyn, run away with a W and not be in auto attack range anymore. It's going to be an interesting one. Definitely. This Teemo could work very well, maybe, if Bobbin lands a couple of good hooks and the Teemo gets ahead. Manages to poke out the Taric, maybe, but it's pretty hard to poke out a champion that has a heal. Let's get away from the bot lane for a second. We have Yorick versus Ornn in the top lane and Diana versus Yasuo in the mid lane. How do you expect this to go, at least without jungle interference?
I guess the idea from here is that if Diana... it's now a melee versus melee in the mid lane. So if Shelterer is feeling very confident into blind, because this is a blind Yasuo at the end of the day, Sheltar must be having a lot of confidence that they're playing really well. They're playing with extremely high confidence to be able to blind a Yasuo. If it is one of the champions that they can play at a very high level, then this would be very exciting to see. But I think if you're Calvary right here, you just have to play around what you can do with this Hecarim, because the Yasuo Wind will not be able to block anything the Hecarim can charge at you with. The Diana Q can actually go round the Yasuo wall, so that is already another benefit that Diana has. So I'm very interested to see how Sheltar plays this lane out, because you can't play that aggressive, because you're either going to get poked out or you're going to get charged up from the back from a Hecarim. Again, though, with the Sejuani in this mid lane, it's melee to melee, so you can get the passive off of Sejuani's E very quickly, and the same with top lane as well. However, with Yorick being the champion that he is, he's very susceptible, because he has no mobility. He's very susceptible to these ganks that Sejuani can place onto him, as well as what Ornn can do as well. But it's going to be all down to what the use of the what I like to call the ring on Yorick. How well can he put his cage up to stop Ornn trying to charge him through, or to stop the Sejuani charging through?
I do personally like the 1v1 matchup of the Yorick against the Ornn, and he is, similarly to the Shen, a very powerful split pusher. If he's left alone in the lane or gets ahead in this top lane to bully this Ornn around, he is a menace to be dealt with, and could even do some 1v2 plays if he is ahead and there come two tanks trying to battle him. If he kills one of them, like, his ult, the Maiden, will just help him take the other one down as well. So another champion that could take over the game in Bombing Dude's hands. Maybe he'll do better this time. They have played the Yorick once before, and it was the game before today that they were closest to winning. The second game against the Vigorous, he went 3-5-12, so not too bad on a 3 KDA. And we're going to have to see how he's going to go against Janko in this game. We are in loading screen, however, and it is a Dark Harvest Teemo in the bot lane, and Delight already respecting that by going Fleet Footwork.
I guess you can't take long trades against Teemo, because you will get blinded.
Why does he have Cleanse?
Sejuani's Glacial Prison, I guess.
I mean, that's one ability. I understood it with the Ash Arrow, but why would you go Cleanse against Teemo? Does he want to cleanse away the blind that has a 6-second cooldown? I'm not sure. I'm also not sure about Get Juked Ignite instead of Ghost on the Hecarim. Very curious summoner choices on Team Orgless, but maybe they'll justify themselves by winning this game, as we are about to get synced together with production to bring you the coverage of this Game 2 of Whiff's Elite against Team Orgless. And we are completely live now, and the teams are about to leave the fountain. We have a Nautilus again, so I would expect them to try and invade again, but it looks like this time both teams are spreading out a bit. Orgless, though, in a 4-man stack with Delight, going with the rest of the team towards the top side. So this could be an invade yet. And while I said they were spreading out, Whiff's Elite already clumping up too. And they're doing the same damn thing like in Game 1.
It's not quite the mirror this time, because Tarek and Ornn have taken different paths respectively. But it's very close to being another replica of what's happened here. I don't think the Ornn saw them, though. So I'm interested to see how if Orgless do want to stick around, because I don't think they've seen the Ornn. No, they're not going to go around. Okay, so this is interesting, because I would have really liked if they'd seen the Ornn right there to actually try and do a wraparound, knowing that Ornn's going to go back into the jungle. But I guess they want to play it safe, but which they are not playing it safe. They're trying to go for the invade.
Why didn't they leave a ward, though? Like, now they put one on the chickens, but they were on the, beside the red buff bit. They could have easily put a ward on the red buff to see something happening with Misa, and Whiff's Elite have stayed here. They're gonna try for this red buff, but here comes the Tarek. Misses the stun, and here comes the hook from Bobbin. He's already very, very low. The red buff is still being engaged. Delight's trying to do what he can to dissuade them, but the smite from Mise picks up a red buff, and that is a successful steal. Meanwhile, Calray is taking a lot of damage from Shelterer, and the 1v1 level 1 power of Yasuo is not to be underestimated, and Calray already feeling that one, having to use both of his potions.
Yeah, trying to go for another teammate. He's very high up, this Tarek.
Yeah, and here comes Bob, and here he has the hook. Flashes in place for some reason, misses the hook. What are we watching, ladies and gentlemen? Well, back to the top lane, we didn't see anything. Janko has level 2 first, and so he's bullying bombing dude around. Nothing to see in this bot lane. We haven't seen anything here. Hook lands though onto Katie Bjertje. Maybe something happens now. The stun lands onto the Teemo. Well done by Katie Bjertje. And Delight gets some good damage onto the little Yordle. But no deaths, no summoners exchanged. We saw the flashes earlier.
But some very interesting gameplay going on right here. While all that was happening, there has been a jungle. The jungle has been mirrored. So Mizzy, Citrani, did go and take the red buff. Did take the red buff. Another hook.
And that is so much damage onto him. He has to use the heal, but still dies. First blood goes to Bobbin. And that was one too many hooks landing on the Tarek. Here comes the Unstoppable. Here comes the Brittle proc. And Bombardude's not feeling super well right now against Janko. Gets some good return damage with the ghouls. But there's so many minions, he can't really trade into the Ornn right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and if this mini wave does get thinned out, I'm interested to see if another good hook.
Delight gets hooked, and there is the cleanse, but it doesn't help him. Bobbin picks up the second kill. Teemo doesn't need kills, Nautilus says, and 2-0 already in the bot lane. Another lead growing here for over 1,000 gold. Here comes Hecarim, but the double knock from Shelterer just flexing on them.
Oh, Carrot's got back in. That was not
Delight is on up to him. Lives to tell the tale, though.
I wonder how intentional that tornado was from Yasuo. I don't know if he realised the Hecarim's going from that angle. That's a phenomenal play, but I would be very... I don't know. I don't know if he actually completely meant that. Yeah, Kaori going back in, though, to continue that trade against Yasuo is... he got punished with the flash. That was not something I would have imagined would have been a good idea going through your head.
And Bombing keeps standing beside these pillars. He's getting so much damage onto him from these brittle procs, from these knockups. He really has to be more careful with the pillars of Ornn. What are they called? The Volcanic Rupture. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the lead is not as big as it seemed because there was a huge wave in front of tower. But so far, the Diana quote-unquote counterpick into the Yasuo has not been paying off. Maybe this will change once Diana reaches level 6. We shall see. But for now, it looks all peachy for the side of Whiff's lead.
Yep, and Orgless and Gedrick TC is going after this Ocean Dragon. So continuing with the Ocean Dragon style of the series.
That is well done by Bombing, but now he has to flash out, even though Calray is here, flash out as well from Janko, who has no mana to speak of. 180 HP left. The dragon has been picked up. The Q lands from Calray. Can he get the E? No, he cannot. Mizo flashes in to prevent the chase, and no one dies in the top lane.
I like what they were trying to do there. Another hook has landed.
Yeah, that is a stun onto Teemo, though, in response, good return damage, but Delight takes the worst end of the trade either way. They really have to start finding a way to not get hit by so many dredge lines. Speaking of not getting hit, here's a fight in the mid lane, a 2v1. Yasuo trying to get out here. He's been ignited. He's being chased away. Another Q lands from Diana. Calray gets in with the E, and that's a kill in the mid lane for Orgless. They are on the board.
And that's crucial for the Diana because she was behind in CS up to that point, and that kill only now puts her around about 50 gold behind, whereas previously it would have been approaching that 350 to 400 gold mark. So very crucial that Diana actually got that kill because it brings her back into the lane and makes it a bit more competitive.
Yeah, speaking of competitive, CS is pretty even the top lane. Here comes another dredge line onto Katie Bjertje. They always wait for the wave to stack up and then go in behind it. And that's just so much damage onto the Tarek. No more mana for Katie Bjertje either. You will have to recall soonish. And this looks like a dominating lane right now for the Teemo Nautilus duo. I can't even believe what I'm saying right now.
Now, I'm just going to throw something out there. and I want... Oh, Sejuani's looking for a gank.
Yeah, Misa is behind them. Misses the charge though, so yeah, you saw nothing.
Maybe it could be down to the fact that another hook has landed.
No, they
There's another
just
kill.
Firelasher picks up a kill for himself. Finally, he has one on the board. I'm never happy when a Teemo works, because I don't like the champion very much, but well done by them. Here comes the last breath in the mid lane. Meanwhile, the top lane is the focus of the directed camera. Good moondrop from Calray. Will he fall to the ignite though? He survives the last tick on a sliver of HP, and now on the top lane, the 1v1 keeps going. Brittle proc own both players very low HP. Get Juked has tried to make something happen there, has bitten off more than he can chew. Can he get out and survive? The directed camera is not following them. It does mean the horse survives against the boar and lives to tell the tale, but Delight with no mana stuck under his tower could be the one they want to dive. They choose to go back to the wave and push though, which gives Delight the opportunity for a couple auto attacks. And after all of that excitement, no deaths for now.
But I do want to come back to this mid lane matchup because it's a tower, essentially a tower dive's happening, and that's a kill.
And he gets a solo kill. Bombing Dude gets revenge onto Janko, hitting that E, hitting that crucial morning mist to make the ghouls and the maiden attack the Ornn, and that will secure him his second plate already. As the maiden gets killed by the tower, he will have to walk away. Great solo kill from him.
Yeah, a very good kill there. Janko not appreciating the damage that can come out from a Yorick in the early game, even if it's just a longsword. If you can do 20, you can do 20 damage on those little minions, 25 damage. But if you do them 20 times, it all adds up. So he just didn't appreciate how much damage would come out over that sustained time. The point I was going to make earlier, I keep trying to make all these different points. I want to just reiterate that, this isn't really the Teemo that's making this work. The fact that Bobbin has been throwing about 25 hooks and landed about 24 of them has been the crucial thing here. If this was still a Jhin, then the same thing would have been happening because there's also the root that can be there as well as the fourth shot. So it's crucial that people don't get hyped up about this Teemo because the Nautilus has been hitting a lot of these hooks now, and it's been set up a lot of these kills.
Janko's trying to loop around for the gank in the mid lane, has used the Ornn Horn. They get the knockup, they get the breath, but here comes the Hecarim. Moondrop as well. Janko is already on low HP. He is ignited. He got the brittle, but he will fall to Calray, and that's a great counter gank from Get Juked, spotting out the Ornn. Bombing Dude picks up the kill on Yasuo on the back end, and together with the 2 kills, the Rift Herald is their prize.
So that's a very interesting fight that they were trying to take there, because Yasuo only had a Berserker's Greaves. There's no real raw damage in terms of items coming out there. So I'm very interested to see why they were trying to go for a fight there as well. Another hook has landed, and
that's another root and a knockup. And they're trying to make the fight work, but Caitlyn is just doing so much more damage than Teemo right now. Look at this. Firelasher is on less than half HP. Now the blind comes in. There is the dredge line. Katie Bircher has a magnet inside of his hammer or something, because Bobon is on a killing spree. Blocks at the very last inch that ace in the hole to save Firelasher's life, and it's a 4th kill of the game in the bot lane. Katie Bircher, he cannot... It looks like he's... As I said, he has a magnet on him for these hooks, and they will go towards the dragon here.
Imagine if Morgana was chosen this game.
Oh boy. That would be so good.
Imagine if Morgana was chosen instead of Tarek.
Yeah. Bombing Dude summons the Rift Herald while Whiff's Elite are picking up this dragon, so he will get a lot more done here. Already down to 3 plates a tower, now it's down to 1. Barely alive, this structure. Bombing Dude has been doing well in the top lane with this Yorick pick. We have to commend him here. And he gets good return damage. Why does he summon the Mother here? He doesn't have the E onto Janko, and so the Mother just takes a tower shot and walks off.
I think he may have just misunderestimated how much compression he didn't have actually at that point. And the gold lead right now, 1,000 gold down for Orgless. However, the gold lead in top lane is at 1,400. So if you're Orgless right now, any sense of a gold lead whatsoever right now is in your top side, because this Caitlyn's been so far down in CS.
He's gonna get the tower.
Yeah, so again, that's more than a flash out from Janko.
Yeah,
so yeah, this Yorick is becoming a really big problem now. We know that the split push potential that a Yorick has, and this gold lead, a 2,000 gold lead in the top lane, considering that they're still down in overall team gold, this is where the win condition now is for Orgless as well, and Nautilus has been caught.
Yeah, they get a stun onto the Nautilus, but he does not care. He has the Aftershock, and here's a 2v1 in the top lane, Misa and Janko, but they are both tanks, and that's a pretty strong Yorick, and Get Juked is here to support that. I don't think he needed it, but it's welcome either way. Get Juked picks up the kill. Stun lands onto Feuerlöscher. The Tarigold has been popped, and they're both invulnerable for a short time, and will have to walk away. The Shroom does some damage. Lights on pretty low HP. Has a flash. This still lands, and they get the kill onto Delight. This bot lane is absolutely getting ravaged by Bobbin and kind of Feuerlöscher, but it's mostly the Nautilus doing all the work.
And another hook, but maybe not on the tower, but...
Yeah, not on the tower, not with half HP, but this is not feeling good for Orgless' bot lane. Bombing Dude is having a hell of a time in the top lane. He's feeling himself right now.
Bo Bobbin has been landing every hook that's needed to be hit this game, which has been all of them, because any hook that's been any hook that you can get into a kill has been landed. I think Bo Bobbin has only missed one hook at the moment in this lane, as Shelter has gone for it.
That's a lot of auto attacks, and there's the last breath that will reduce the armor even further. Shutdown and a solo kill for Shelterer. I'm not sure what Calray was thinking he could do there. Oh no, Delight, please!
Well, it's invisible.
R2v3 because the Sejuani is right behind him. Feuerlöscher is on very low HP, but already dead is Get Juked. Feuerlöscher picks up that kill, and now Delight's in the middle of 3 people. Gets the stun on him. Double kill for Feuerlöscher. Oh boy, this is snowballing out of control even faster than the top lane on the other side. And now the lead is 2,500 for Whiff's lead. The mid lane's pulling away. He has a 40 CS lead onto Calray on this Yasuo. And the blind pick Teemo is 4-0 and 3. And more fights happening. They're not letting me breathe. Stuns on each other from Sejuani and Taric. They both walk away. Shelterer has been forced to flash in the mid lane and is away. These teams don't stop fighting, man.
They don't allow us to bring up a point and discuss it, because every time a point gets brought up, there's always another fight. 13 kills in 14 minutes. There's a kill every minute going on so far. A very crucial kill, though, in the mid lane, though, with the Yasuo again, the solo kill, and Calray again.
He walks into Yasuo and Ornn. I know he has the Yorick behind him, but the double knockup lands from the Ornn. That's the last breath. That's already a lot of damage to Calray, who has the flash in about 2-3 seconds. But here comes the reinforcements. The cavalry is literally here, and Calray is on 1 auto attack of life, and he dies to Calray. Now Bobbin goes golden, but against 3 people, that only buys around 2.5 seconds of time. Doesn't manage to get the return kill into Calray, although he almost did, and that's 2 kills for nothing. For Orgless, they have hope. With a Triforce now finished onto the Yorick, they have the power.
Yes, definitely, and it's becoming a little bit out of hand in this time. It's really a question of 2 hours, and a teleport is coming in from Ornn.
Oh, the teleporting behind Teemo was on the brush invisible, and this is not looking good for Delight and KDBRT. They get both knocked up by the Searing Charge, and Delight's already dead. Feuerlöscher picks up 1 kill, KDBRT falls to Janko. I'm not sure if we can call this an overextension, because they didn't know the Teemo was there, and the teleport behind them was also kind of unexpected. Good teleport onto a Shroom. I'll call it a great play by Whiff's Elite, but yeah.
It was.
Interesting choice to go for the tower here.
Yeah, I can understand if they try and do a little bit of sweeping out. Sometimes you can forget that Teemo can be invisible. And it was, a very good play from there. I'm interested why the Cosmic Radiance from Taric did not get brought out during that. But maybe they just
available.
maybe they kind of just they just
knew their fate.
Or they expected their fate. My vocabulary left me for a second, but yeah, maybe they just expected their fate was already over. Yanko's gone for it.
Oh, the Searing Charge doesn't knock up anybody. This could be their chance. The Tornado also not hitting anyone. That's so much damage from the Diana. Here comes the Cosmic Radiance, and the Yasuo is already dead. They step on a couple of Shrooms. This will give Feuerlöscher a lot of damage. And another hook onto who else but KDBRT. Will this cost Bobbin's life? He's very low. The ace in the hole comes out. He will live first due to the heal, but Bombing Dude with a Q picks it up. The knock-up from the Ornn not doing all too much. They still are on this Mountain Dragon, but Misa is still on the flank. He could still try to steal this. The Maiden of the Mist is in, and he charges too late and will just charge into his own demise. Can he get the blast cone? No, he cannot. And it's 3-0 and the Drake for Team Orgless. And they have closed the gold gap. It's looking good for them right now, even though their bot lane has been absolutely dumpstered.
That's completely correct. And a lot of their lead now for Whiff's Elite is now appearing in this bot lane. So it's really going to be a case of it's a tale of two halves of the map. You've got this Teemo who is 6-0-4 as a result of Bo Bobbin landing every single hook this galaxy's ever seen onto KD Bjerche as well as Delight. He's even hitting terrain, he can hit everything. But then at the same time, you've got this in the top lane where it's a 3,000 gold lead on top for this Yorick. So Yorick right now is loving life. I don't know who's going to be able to go up there and actually contest him. You can't put the Teemo up there because, well, it won't work because it's not really Yorick does the damage. You can put the Mother Maiden as well as the little minions that Yorick spawns up does a lot of the damage anyway. So the blind effect's not really going to do too much of a difference. So I don't know, realistically at this point, who can actually contest this Yorick inside the side lane.
Yeah, at the moment, no one can 1v1. And speaking of 1v1,
Yanko's trying it.
And he gets attacked by the Maiden of the Mist and a couple of ghouls. Here comes the Sejuani, though, lands the Glacial Prison. Bobbing Dude is on a rampage already, though, because he has picked up the kill onto Yanko. The Maiden and the ghouls doing so much work, and now he can just walk away from the Sejuani. He's carrying exactly 3,000 gold as we speak, so he's far from done for this game.
Yeah, and as soon he's going to go back and probably get a whole item, and Calray's been
Old knockup lands that will ensure a dredge line. Can he get something back onto Feuerlöscher? No, he just does not have the damage yet. The shutdown gold goes to Bobbin. I would say not ideal, but he lands about 10 of 9 hooks he shoots. So who am I to question him getting the gold?
Hey, Bobbin deserves it. It's okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sheltera in the mid lane trying to make something happen against the bot lane from Orgless, who are trying to pick up some gold while the Nautilus is somewhere else. I don't think they care much beyond that. But while Yorick has picked up that tower in the bot lane, it looks like the bot lane of Whiff's Elite are looking to pick up this tower for themselves. At least being 2-4 in towers and not 1-4. This will bring them back into the gold lead, though.
It does, and Whiff's Elite are doing the right thing here. Knowing that the Yorick's on the other side of the map, they need to try and do cross-map plays. So this Rift Herald is a very good decision by Whiff's Elite. You need to try and do everything away from this Yorick, because you'll get to a point when this Yorick's going to try and cause you to bleed a lot in the next 10 minutes and try and bleed out these towers. If you can at least keep him from taking Okari's been caught.
That is a good knock-up onto him, and the smidge of the edge of the hitbox of the dredge line hits him, and he dies. Bobbin is on an absolute roll when it comes to these hooks, and that means another death for Kelray, and the Herald has been summoned mid lane, I think. No, it has not yet, actually. Misa is still carrying it, and so the tower's still alive. Here comes another knockup.
Tower.
That is a play and a half by Get2. Gets a kill before he dies. He knew he was dead, but gets a shutdown onto Feuerlöscher still. Here comes the re-engage, though. There is the Cosmic Radiance to preserve the life of KD Bjerche and Delight. They're trying to make everything they can happen. But KD Bjerche and Nautilus hooks, there was something about that this game. This time he survives with the heal and the flash, though. And they manage to preserve their tower. Here comes a TP from Calray into the Dragon Pit. Can he be there in time? There is a couple of shrooms. Can he dodge them? He can! He jumps over them with his E. Bobbin gets away with that hook onto the terrain. And they managed to survive the TP for now. Here comes another Q and another hook onto terrain to survive.
Bo Bobbin is living and dying by this hook.
Yeah.
It is incredible just what sort of performances are coming out right now. Is landing any hook, again, like I said, any hook that needs to be landed is being hit right here, whether it's on enemy champions, whether it's on the terrain, anything that needs to be landed, it's being landed right here, right now. If this does go to a game 3, Orgless, you really need to ban this Nautilus, because this bot lane has had absolutely hundreds and tons, and you can use any metric in the world to use this. There have been so many problems this Nautilus has caused right now, and even just on that one teleport play, Calray wasn't able to get any kill due to well, as silly as it's going to sound, the mobility of the Nautilus.
Yeah, at least if they ban the Nautilus and Borrowin picks, for example, the Pike that has been banned away a lot from him, the Pike can't get out of fights as well as the Nautilus, even if he has hooks as well. This Mountain Dragon has been engaged though, and it's a close dragon game. Here comes the Ornhorn. It's sounded, it hits one knockup, but it just ensures this Mountain Dragon. There's a knockup onto Katie Bertia. There's a Nautilus. He could be going fast. Flashes forward, uses the ult as well, and the charges in 5 people are stacking in the middle. This is just a dream scenario for Team Orgless, and here comes the Hecarim. Delight has already picked up a couple of kills. 4 dead already on the side of Whiff's Elite, and no deaths for Orgless. 4 for 0. And these close corridor fights, we've just seen why this team loves it, with the Yorick, with the Taric, and with the Hecarim. And that was an easy teamfight win. I'm a little interested why they're not going for the Baron. Maybe they're a bit scared that Get-Juke isn't on enough HP, but great fight from them.
A fantastic fight, and Calray with the Moonfall onto the backline of Whiff's Elite meant that while the original engage came through from Whiff's Elite, there was no follow-up because Calray was in the backline getting, not only was it only damage, but getting a lot of distraction done onto the backline. So, but in that situation, you're in a 5v5, there's no follow-up, and now Orgless in that fight were able to have the Hecarim, have the Yorick just in that position just to capitalize.
Yeah, Get-Juked had an absolutely huge onslaught of shadows there, fearing, I think, 3 people. And just ensuring Delight, Bombing Dude, and Kelray can put out so much damage in the corridor. And now finally Mise summons that Rift Herald in the mid lane. They're trying to make a push. They're 3 men strong. They have a couple of shrooms on the sides. Can they make a push with the Herald? There comes the hook onto Delight, but this might have been too early, as they disengage this pretty easily. There comes the charge from the Rift Herald, but it's not able to take the tower. They have no more minions to help themselves. Meanwhile, Janko trying to desperately defend against Bombing Dude, who is having the time of his life. He's already on 2 items. He's got the Triforce and the Hysterics gauge. He's just sitting here loving life right now, being left alone and doing damage to towers. Now he's not left alone. Mise might come.
Yeah, and this is Sejuani, again, like this Yorick is being left in such a position where this tower will be taken right now, and you know,
he doesn't and he forces the flash again.
Whiff's Elite do not have an answer for this because they're not getting down the mid turret or the top turret as a response to this. So slowly but surely, this Yorick will be able to open an inhibitor, and that's another hook.
But this time the Cosmic Radiance immediately, and there is Get-Juked on the flank. They're all immortal for the time being. Now the Cosmic Radiance is over, but Foilash is already almost dead. Will walk away for now, but Get-Juked picks up the kill with a Q, and here lands a stun onto Nautilus. They have bitten off more than they can chew. This time, the horse has come in. Delight picks up the kill. Now the Ornhorn is sounded against Bombing, who flashes away from it. Too early, but it still misses, and now no knockup lands on him. There is a knockup. There's the last breath. Can they win the 2v1 against Bombing Dude? Yes, they can. Without the Maiden of the Mist, the shutdown is secured for Shaltera. That was 1,000 gold in the Yasuo's pocket. Not what you want to see on Orgless, but overall, they still won across the map. Around 3,000 gold is their lead now.
Definitely, and something which we've not really touched on that much, and I've just come to my attention, that this is a very fed Hecarim right now, and Hecarim, as we know, is one of the best junglers in the game right now, because of the amount of burst, the tankiness, and the DPS, and he's going for it, flashed away.
Katie Bertia with a good flash here with the awareness. Sheltera did not have the last breath available, so it's not 100% sure that it was strictly necessary. But this Yasuo has 2 items and the BF sword, so yeah, he's going to deal a lot of damage. He has more than 50 CS up on Calray, so he is definitely a threat that they have to deal with. At some point, he might get strong enough to challenge the Yorick, but not by himself yet, as the Yorick is going towards a death stance.
Yes, and I think as soon as this death stance is actually completed on the Yorick, it's going to make him 1v turbo and a double stun.
Dashes into the stun, and here comes the Moonfall. Flashes out from that. That's a good Good knock-up from Yasuo. Shutdown comes onto the Hecarim and a double kill even. They get KD Bjerke as well. And that was 2 fairly free kills for Whiff's Elite. And now they're 5 strong on the map. And they might be going towards the Baron. And it looks like they're doing this.
Yes, the enemy jungler Get Juked Easy is down for now. Shelter played that fight fantastically well. He flashed away from the Moonfall from the Diana and then hit a 2-person tornado. I think there was alongside as well the Bobbin's depth charge as well, and then getting a 2-man ultimate, getting out of the side of that, and the Baron is the result of this play, and a lot of that play will go towards Shelter as Bobbin as well.
Yeah, and now with the Baron buff, they have even up the gold lead, and that is a double knock-up from the Ornn. They were trying to sneak the Dragon meanwhile, but Delight's on a sliver of HP. Calray is already dead. Yanko picks that kill up, and here comes the rest of the team. Yanko could fall to the ghouls, but he just barely manages to survive. The Maiden of the Mist against 4 champions is not going to be able to do anything, and they will even get the Dragon after that.
No! Hold it!
That's killed by KD Bjerke. He uses the Blight Cone to run away, but puts his own jungler into the Dragon Pit. And that's another death for the Hecarim. And that's a tilter if I've ever seen one. Not good for Team Orgless.
I don't know what part was planned or not planned. It seemed very suspicious to blast cone your own jungler into the fight and then not give him the Cosmic Radiance to try to get out as well, but whatever happened, he has stolen the Mountain Dragon, and they are on Mountain Soul Point, which is huge if you're looking at this Yorick once again, as well as this Hecarim. A big shield, the extra resistance coming in for now. The 3 items, so the Death Stance is also completed. This is a big Yorick, and it could become a big problem if Whiff's Elite cannot deal with this. Hecarim also on the Adaptive Helm right now, so respecting the DPS that Teemo could be putting out right here. So the Mountain Soul Point is very crucial now for Team Orgless.
Yeah, I mean, he's good equipped against the Teemo, but against that Yasuo, which, by the way, is richer than the Yorick right now, even though it doesn't particularly look at it from the KDA. He has 241 CS, and as I said, he has more gold than Bombing Dude right now, Shelterer. That is a very dangerous Yasuo, especially if you only have Ninja Tabi to have resistances against them. Bombing Dude with exactly 0 armor in his build is also going to have a hard time against this, so he's quickly going to become a threat similarly dangerous to the Yorick. Just going to be interesting how Team Orgless are trying to deal with this. KD Bjerke is caught meanwhile, but they managed to fight the other team off for now.
Yes, and as well as the Molten Edge now. So this, as you said, this is a very powerful Yasuo, and Calvay might be just finding out how powerful this is.
Last breath used in the top lane. Meanwhile, the Ornhorn comes out here. The Cosmic Radiance has been used, so they're going to try to win this 4v4, but there's so many tanky members. Getjut immediately goes for the Teemo, but he has too much assistance. Now he's in the middle of 3 people, and look at my horse. My horse is dead. And here comes the depth charge, and Shelterer is here to support his team. It's a 5v3 already. KD Bjerke will fall. Shelterer gets a shutdown onto Delight and another kill onto KD Bjerke. They chase this in onto Bombing Dude, and even a very fed Yorick can do only so much. Calray gets hit by the tornado and will fall as well. This is the ace, and this will surely be the game. Whiff's Elite looking like they can take this 2-0.
This has to be the end of the game now. The death time is on 15 seconds for the Hecarim, but I don't think it's going to be able to really do a whole lot against this team. I think this game is the story of a fantastic performance with these hooks from Bobbin, as well as Shelterer taking over the mid game, getting that power spike, and taking it home for Whiff's Elite.
Yeah, not even Getjut can stop this Nexus from exploding, and it's a 2-0 for Whiff's Elite. Congratulations. They will be at 2-4 in the standings right now, with Team Orgless dropping to 0-5. They only have 1 more game scheduled against OP Nerds, which has been rescheduled. So it looks like Team Orgless is very likely to drop to Division 3 at this point in time.
Yeah, and I think if you are Whiff's Elite, I think if you're going into the next game and even the next split, you have to understand. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, of course, because the early game is becoming a major problem. Because again, in that first game, it had a lot of the same problems they did in this game. A lot of kills were given up early on in the top side of the map, as well as in the mid lane and the jungle. But like I said before, a fantastic performance from Bo Bobbin on this Nautilus to push this Teemo to go ahead. Again, I'll reiterate this: the reason why that bot lane was so successful was not down to Teemo. The Nautilus was absolutely fantastic. And then once you look at the front to back teamfight style that the Whiff League look like they prefer, I think once they sort out their early lane phase, I think this could be a very well contested team in Division 2.
Yeah, they have certainly shown some good rotations and some stellar team fighting, I would say. As you said, especially Bobbin, with this Nautilus landing all of the hooks and very good depth charges as well. Now we will have to decide on who we would choose as an MVP, and I think there's only two choices for today.
Yeah, so Yanko for me, Yanko in the first game was doing very well on that Urgot. However, I do think a lot of that was bombing dude going into a lot of really interesting fights, a lot of silly fights, a lot of silly engagements, really interesting trades. Shelterer was absolutely fantastic in games 1 and 2 on that Cassiopeia. But I personally think Bo Bobbin, just in that game alone, was absolutely phenomenal. I think any hook that needed to be landed was landed. I can only count on I think there was only like maybe 2 or 3 hooks that were completely missed in that game, but all the other hooks were all landed. And I think for me, my personal MVP in the series would actually go to Bo Bobbin.
Yeah, I do agree, though we do have to give an honorable mention, I think, to Shelterer, because he has put out so much damage in both of these games. Overall, though, Bo Bobbin should be a worthy MVP for the series. Every single hook that, as you said, needed to be landed was where it needed to be. We have to feel bad for Bombing Dude in the second game. He had such a huge lead in the top lane, but here we come back to Bo Bobbin. If he hadn't been landing all these hooks, this could have been a very, very difficult game for Whiff's Elite, but with their bot lane winning this hard, there was a way back into the game, and that's exactly what they needed, and exactly what they used to win this series 2-0.
Yes, definitely. I think if it wasn't for what was happening in that bot lane, I think the game could have spiraled completely out of control, but that Caitlyn was not allowed to sit pretty in that lane and get farming, get the income, and then transfer into a 5-5 team fight where you have this massive lead in the top lane, and then a safe bot lane that can join into that. I think Bo Bobbin just in all those hooks and right there, just absolutely outstanding performance.
Yeah. One more thing about this game is we have to excuse them a little bit for this Teemo. Not sure why it worked. 99% in the early lane phase, it was probably because of Bo Bobbin landing every single hook.
Yeah.
But it was something that worked for the composition because they probably already knew they were going to pick 3 tanks and they wanted the Yasuo in the mid lane. So what do you do for magic damage? You don't want the enemy team to just pick a couple tanks themselves and stack armor, so you pick the Teemo in the bot lane, and he has actually done more damage to champions this game than Shelterer has on this Yasuo. So, congratulations to them in making a Teemo bot lane work.
I mean, like you said, right, you got credit where credit is due. If you are going to take a Teemo into the bot lane, you better make it work, and it did, quote unquote, work. I think a lot of the success in the early game was provided by the Nautilus, and it protected the team a lot, just to do a lot of burst damage from auto and the blinding darts. But no, at the end of the day, like I said, if you are going to go for an AD mid laner, you do need the magic damage, and if you can make a Teemo work, then absolutely fair play to them as well. Well done to Whiff Sleep for making it work.
Yeah, as we said, congratulations to them, and especially Team Orgless still have a bunch of construction sites to be worked on in their play. We kind of have to compliment them on their early game. They have done some good things in the early game, especially around top side. I think Get Juked Easy and Bombing Dude have had pretty good games for the most part, especially in the early game. They do need to sort out their shot calling, though, and their positioning, especially in the bot lane. But they still can improve enough, maybe, to have a shot at the relegation game to at least show some more strength than they did in these late games today. Yes,
definitely. And I think because Whiff Sleep taking up that fight, I think that means that they are done for the split. So it means that Team Vigorous will be in the relegation finals that will go up against Team Orgless. I think if you're Team Orgless going into that series, you can take a lot of positives out of this game, because you know that in the top half of the map with Get Juked Easy, and especially the jungle, he was getting ahead, he was finding leads. Calray was holding his own into the mid lane up to a certain point. But then I think for your Team Orgless, you just have to find out, okay, how do we transfer the lead into across the map? It's like we found quite a lot of times that past the 20-minute mark, they would get themselves an ace or 3 or 4 people, they'd kill 3 or 4 of the enemy, and then they would just reset and do or push away something that maybe they need to take a risk. Try and go for a Baron, try and push the lead that you have, try and push your advantages, because if you don't do that, especially if you're going into a potential scaling competition, which is what a Yasuo could be or a Cassiopeia, it will cause a problem if you can't find a way to push any advantage you have.
Yeah, they definitely were playing very conservatively with their leads, which could be a factor in them losing said leads. But for now, they will have a week's break, and before their final match against OP Nerds, to maybe polish some new team compositions, get together as a team and work on the shot calling a little bit and a couple of scrims. For now, we have to say, Ma, I thank you very much for being here with me and casting. I thank all the watchers and all the players and all the coaches for being part of this match as well, and of the league. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did, and we hope we see you guys on Monday again as well, when the lower divisions are going to be playing. And for me, I can just say thank you for watching and good night. Any final words, Ma?
No, thank you for having me on the stream. Thanks for carrying me in the casting. So I think a lot of stuff I did was a bit interesting, but no, it was fun. It was a fun series to cast as well. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, as I said, thank you very much for being here. We have to give a round of applause to you, especially since you jumped in basically last minute. And we have to say you did very well. So we hope to hear you again on the cast. And so again, thanks for being here, everybody. And good night, and hear you guys on Monday.
And I'll be running, possessed by a lone, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la-la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock.